Hey, it's Paul with PM Designs. This is another video in my photography series. This is probably, after I bought my camera equipment, this was the first accessory that I really bought. And it's a remote shutter release. And the way that this works is on the side of the camera, which I will grab my camera right here. On the side of the camera, there's a little cover, and on the side, you open that cover. One of the plugs on your camera, if your camera has the ability to have a remote shutter release, will have a little picture of a shutter button, a little shutter release, or you can consult your owner's manual. It'll tell you what you need to press. And I've turned the camera on, and if I press this shutter button, which it functions similar to the one on the camera, when you press it halfway, it focuses, and you get the confirmation beep that it's focused, and you push it all the way, and it takes the picture. Now, if you I'm turning the camera off because I don't have it in the right mode to do a long exposure, but if you want to do night photography, light painting, which is all stuff that you can look up, I will do a video on it, but for right now, Google it or search on YouTube. There's a bunch of good videos on it. But what it is it's doing photography and basically illuminating by the use of a flashlight or some form of lighting, highlighting certain areas of the photograph. If you have a vehicle and it's out on a dark, area out in a field or something somewhere, you basically would shine the flashlight on it. And this is a technique that I've done it before. It's pretty simple, but it's one of those things that you'll develop the skill as you practice doing it. And you keep the shutter open, so it's basically absorbing all the light. And some of the photos, if you look it up, there's a lot of amazing photos that have been done using this technique. But the way it works is that you would push down the shutter button all the way, and then you'd slide up on this outer surface of it, and it would lock the shutter down. And whenever you want to go ahead and close the shutter, you just take and you slide this little plastic section back, and the button releases. This was $3 or $4 on Overstock. You can find them all over the place for under $10. You can buy the actual Canon one. I didn't buy the Canon one just because I figured for as little usage as I'll probably get, as I'll be doing with this, I didn't feel like spending $30. But if you want to buy the Canon one, buy the Canon one. I've used the Canon one before. You can tell there's a difference in quality, but from what I've seen, this works just fine for what I want. It was a $3, $4 well spent, in my opinion. So, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I will have some videos up eventually, once I go make them, of doing some light painting, doing some long exposure photography at night, and just different things. One thing to keep in mind is that when you are doing a long exposure, some cameras do have an actual dedicated bulb mode, but you're going to need to go over to the manual mode on your camera, and your shutter speed, wrong button, your shutter speed, eventually you'll get, and it will say bulb, and that'll allow use of this. Or if you push the shutter release button on the camera right here, it's holding the shutter open. However, the problem is that unless you're going to get a lot of motion in there if the camera shakes any, so you are going to want a nice stable tripod for the camera, and this makes it really nice because you don't get any motion in the camera. This is also really helpful when you are taking any photographs and you're using a slow shutter speed, so you get more of the light into the camera. If you're doing still photography and you do have a slow shutter speed, it'll eliminate or reduce, because there's still, when the mirror flips up, there's still a little bit of movement internal of the camera that this isn't really going to get rid of. But this does do a good job of an excellent job of getting rid of any user-induced camera shake. and the addition of having a nice stable tripod. Which right now I'm just using a Walmart $25 to $30 basic Vivitar tripod, I believe. Nothing fancy. I will eventually get a better tripod, but that's down the road. Thanks for watching.